real world and the spiritual world, and I think that if extraterrestrials exist, they exist in the real world, and the spiritual world, they can have what they want, and that's where you go when you're not around here anymore.
Well, there's good and bad of these, of course, so we're not really sure of any of this. The research has to be done, but, we can write that on your tombstone when these negative aliens attack this planet, that you didn't think they were real, but there's some very bad things going on here, and of course nothing can be totally explained as at this point.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller, and good morning. Write that on your tombstone after they attack. That is what you said, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You believe that the alien attack is coming on this planet?
We believe so. In the next 10 years, something's going to happen.
Well, something is not the same as they're going to attack us or take us over, something like that.
Well, the government has a lot of different, very high-tech weapons to handle this. So there could be either mass destructions or some sort of armistice, but there's going to be communication and there's going to be some bloodletting.
If it came to war, Mr. Templar, would we win?
I really don't know. We have some amazing weapons that we don't know about.
I guess we better have. All right. Wildcard line 3, you're on the air. Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell and James Templar. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you calling from, sir?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay.
I was wondering if this argon generator is being suppressed by the United States government. I understand the inventor, Mr. Wright, R-E-I-C-H, was held in prison 12 years.
That is correct. Of course, anything to do with medical mafia out there, you try to heal anybody, alternate methods, and that's what he was using using his energy to heal people, and they put him in jail as a quack. And he was persecuted because of this. And while his books have still survived and are readily available, generally these devices are not used by anyone anymore except for as experimental.
I'm a layman, and the only thing I know about argon is it's a gas in physics.
Well, actually, it's an energy, and it's Earth energies, and there's ways of it. Very simply, his devices are very simple. They're just steel in between a fabric, and you put these different layers of steel together, and it kind of holds this energy in, and so forth.
Why would the government suppress it?
Well, they suppress anything that upsets the normal, and
very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the call, Albuquerque. Why? In other words, if there is, for example, a magical machine, or not so magical machine, that will heal somebody of some disease the government otherwise can't deal with, why would they suppress it, Mr.
Well, there are cures right now for all the diseases that are on this planet, and they've been doing none of this stuff is overly new, and it's suppressed because there's very little money, and the people that have the power don't want to give money if there is money to make from someone else that has an alternative philosophy or a technique. It's like people don't want to convert from the oil cartels into solar energies and so forth. Because,
the old carburetor, we bought it up and put it on the shelf theory, right?
Basically, it's been true. People are either paid off or they're killed.
Good morning, line 1. You're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell and James Templar.
First of all, let me say good evening to your guest. I do have a problem. I got sad to say I disagree with about 50% of the things that you say. What fascinates me, though, is do you believe that people have a set purpose in life? I'm fascinated that because if you look at U.S. history, it's fascinating that great people come at key times, such as Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, great leaders we had during the put the Constitution together, Franklin Roosevelt. Do you believe that there are
Excuse me, sir. That would be great people of both political persuasions.
Well,
Mr. Templar, that is a fact, though.
It's a whole question of destiny and so forth, and there are people that have specific destinies. Now, not everyone has a destiny, but there are specific individuals that do have destiny. There is a fate, and they are going to do that fate regardless.
are you saying that people do not have a set time to live and to die, but that is not a set point?
No, it isn't. But there are people. Well, some people have a destiny. Some people may have this set time, and that they come for a specific purpose. purpose. They have a specific purpose on this earth, and they are pretty much their life, while there are many stops in between, has a certain outcome that will happen. But not everyone.
Well, what you're saying though is that if it worked out that way, where you had, if you set it for some people and didn't set it for everyone, you basically have loose cannons. And it seems to me, if it's set for some people, people have to be set for everyone.
Well, no, because there's only certain people that can do certain things. If everybody had this great goal in life to change the world, there would be billions of people trying to do things in conflict. There's no problem.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Ms. Templar, are our lives pre-scripted? Do we have free will, or do we just think we have free will? In other words, are we following some grand plan, and it's going to happen? It's just we don't know what's going to happen, so we think we've got free will, but we're really following some grand plan?
Again, it's dependent on the individual. Some people are just flow in the wind and are taken by whatever comes along. Other ones are very much directed, and you're going to end up doing what you are directed to, whether you like it or not. So again, it's very individualistic. People have certain goals in life that they have to fulfill for certain reasons.
That's really something to consider. All right, very good. Wildcard line 3, you're on the air, coast to coast, AM with James Templar.
Okay.
Yes, turn your radio off, please.
Okay.
Off, sir. Hello?
Huh?
Yes, where are you calling from?
Seattle?
Seattle, Washington. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, did you ever read that book by James Monroe, Out of the Body Journey?
I've heard of it, but you're talking astral travel in general. What are you talking about?
Well, I just wanted to make an observation that he had several experiences of premonitions of the future, and verified that a lot of them happened. One of them was he had this vision where he and his family were exiting a large city. He thought it was New York, and it was like a major exit of a whole bunch of people. And he said that he saw that the sky was like filled with these extraterrestrials that were like attacking the city. And that was a very interesting book. I just thought that I'd mention this, you know.
All right, let's see what he has to say. Are you at all familiar with the book?
I've heard of the book. I've not read about it. I'm familiar with the writer. Now, these seeing things in dreams and so forth is very, very common. I mean, you just mentioned one where you saw...
I was fully conscious when that happened.
And you can do it fully conscious also. You know, it depends. Some people, people see dreams, which is a typical way of doing it because they're in a consciousness state. But this is not unusual at all. There's certain people under pressure situations in particular tend to dream of the future and get bits and pieces. It's very hard to put these together.
When I said, Mr. Templar, that I really had this experience, I really had it. I've never felt it since, and I've never felt it before. But there was no question about it. I knew what was going to happen. In fact, I was being forced by something or somebody to pay attention. Not forced. It was as though I could not control it. It came in waves. All right, to Seattle, Washington, on the first-time caller line. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Enjoyable show so far.
Thank you.
And Mr. Templar, earlier you mentioned the possibility of a connection between some of these UFO aliens and esoteric beings that have been encountered. I was wondering if you were aware of Aleister Crowley's work with Enochian beings.
Yes, I'm familiar with that text and so forth. He uses supposed to be angelic type forces. But yeah, there's an intermixing here that can't be ignored, and we just have to further investigate it.
Yes, well, Crowley once drew a picture of one of these Enochian beings that he summoned, and the picture looked just like the cover of Whitley Strieber's book Communion.
I've got to bust in here, if you don't mind, for the audience. What in the world are these beings, please? You've got to recall we don't understand. We all don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, Enochian beings are a subclass of angelic being which could theoretically be contacted by using certain magical rituals in a magical language that was discovered by John Dee, an Elizabethan magician.
Do you mean angels?
Yes, they are. They're cyber angels, some are.
Yes, but Aleister Crowley was a magician in the early part of the 20th century, drew pictures of these beings that he summoned, and they look just like these between the abduction.
There's a lot of pictures and drawings of humans that have come to people over the years that look very similar to these alien beings. This is a connection that has never been really discussed before, and it's fascinating.
Thank you very much, Cole. And good morning. James, when all is said and done, and all of this is over, and we finally know the truth someday, would it be your best guess that we're going to say, we thought these were human souls from beyond. They're not. It's aliens. Or do you think we will finally discount the alien aspect of it and say, what a foolish thought, we're the only ones here, and in fact, this is all manifestations of human souls?
I tend to think that these are forces from outside of this planet.
You do? And that's after having investigated quite some number of these things, I take it.
Yes. It tends to seem like if these entities are here, that they did not originate from this plane.
In dealing with everything that you've dealt with, Mr. Templar, what would you say would be the moment that most frightened you?
Well, when you come face to face with a demonic entity, this is very scary. You're not equipped in any of your life to how to really deal with these, and you have old texts and techniques that have been told to you, but you really don't know if these are going to work, and they're going to literally rip you apart.
What do they do? I mean, do they split pea soup at you, or do they burn you, or do they? What's liable to happen?
Depends on the type of it, but they can actually physically attack you, hit you, scrape you, just like any other type of person could do to you. They can enter your body and drive you insane, where you actually kill yourself. They can go into your immune system. They can have things fall on you. They can manifest in many ways, but generally they can actually go into your mind and drive you insane.
How can you tell if somebody is possessed?
Well, there are some characteristics that are very similar. The problem is that it's very difficult to know if someone's just mentally unstable or for some demonic reason.
All right, tell me, what percentage of people in mental hospitals you think are actually possessed?
People have this exorcist vision of this, so they must understand their degrees of this. But I would say that 90% of the people in there have some sort of negative energies or entities within them. And that's because if you indulge in drugs, alcohol, promiscuous sex, and so forth, you tend to draw in negative energies, and these pierce you to certain degrees and enter your consciousness, and they can rule you or not.
On the facts that you sent me in the small print at the top left, one of the things that you deal in apparently is something called sexual sorcery. What is that?
Well, sex in general has been used for many hundreds of years, and it's well known in India and so forth, is actually channeling. You're channeling your sexual energies for a materialistic or practical purpose. And you have all these energies running around. Sex is a very powerful energy, and you can actually use this energy and project it for a material goal.
All right, let me try it from this point of view. Can you get me Connie Chung?
I can't see. If you know Connie Chung, you can affect her. If you don't know her, you can't bring in Madonna or win the lottery. These are the type of things that the whole fallacy going around. It's not just magic.
Well, give Madonna to somebody else. All right, very good. Back to the telephones quickly. Good morning. You're on the air with James Templar in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Templar, do you think that the world government is perhaps cooperating with the aliens and using mind-altering drugs, supercomputers, cathode rays, sound emitters, and other existing technology to shape the worldviews?
Well, they're definitely communicating with the aliens. How much manipulating is going on, I really don't know, but there is a lot of manipulating going on, period. How much of these actual technologies you're talking about are being used, there tends to be everything going on, but to what extent, I have really no idea.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the... Oh, caller, where are you calling from?
Oh, Reno, Nevada.
Reno, and KOH, our affiliate KOH Reno. All right, well, you're an interesting person, Mr. Templar. How long have you been studying all of this?
Well, I've been studying this for about 20 years myself, and of course, I'm in communication with people all around the world that are feeding me information, and
Why did you begin to study it?
I think it's well, like social sleep cycles. And
Is your own psychic power strong?
but I'm not a magic. I'm not a psychic because I know how to direct powers of the
So you are adept at magic, that's where you put it.
Yeah.
But you, even using all that adeptness, you cannot get me connection.
No, you can't get out of your sphere of influence.
All right. Hold on just 1 second. This is Premier Network. That was Art Bell listening Coast to Coast AM on this Somewhere in Time. The man doing that radio show right now is not Art Bell. And he was very, very serious, according to this network exec. And the executive asked, well, is it that his opinions have changed? And he said, well, no. Well, has his voice changed? Well, no. So in every way that he was able to ask, he'd never seen a picture of me, so he couldn't do anything with that. But he was convinced, certain, absolutely certain that it was not and is not me.
Well, maybe the aliens have made a clone of you, Art. They're standing in for you, but, this is the kind of nonsense, obviously, that is...
Investigated claims of ghosts, witchcraft, sorcery, magic, people who claim to have psychic powers and so forth. What percentage over all these years have you found to be a bunch of absolute baloney?
Well, there's so much misinformation, not only from non-occult people, but the people in the occult, because they study only one little area, and they have only information coming in from one little area. We have information coming from around the world. We study everything. And generally, there's a good 30% of what people think are metaphysical things happening that are not.
So that means a lot of people forking up money to talk to spirits, etc., are talking to frauds.
That's correct, and there's a lot of that going on. And some of these people are very well-meaning, and they actually think they are channeling in something, and they are. They're deluding themselves. The problem with anybody who gets in these areas is that they may be very honest, but they're just deluding themselves.
Why should I believe you're in the 70th percentile?
Well, again, none of this can be proved. So my philosophy is nothing can be proved anyway. We don't know what's common, cold, or acting to. So,
all right. To the first-time caller line, you're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with James Templer. Where are you calling from, please? Tacoma, Washington. Yes, sir.
I haven't heard your voice in about 3 years.
It's been a while, I guess. Anyway, welcome back. Glad you're here. You're going to have to speak up good and loud. You're a little weak there, so ask your question, sir.
Okay, I'm just curious. Since they're convinced that...
I'm having trouble.
I can barely hear him myself, but I'll relay it. So go ahead, ask your question there in Washington.
Okay, since he's convinced that the occult is real, how come no one's ever been able to claim the prize that James Randi offers?
All right, that's a good question. Thank you. The question is, since you claim the occult is real, though you do offer up that there's no absolute proof, why has nobody been able to claim the James Randi, or the Randi Prize?
Well, first of all, these things tested under the conditions that he asked. Many of these things can't be proven, and it's very, very difficult for somebody on the spot to have it function this way. But from what I understand, there's somebody actually suing Randi, and he hasn't come through with his money. And of course, no matter what you tell Randi, he's going to come up with some sort of lame excuse of what has happened or not happened. So,
I take it you find him sort of an annoying bird.
Well, he doesn't believe in anything, and he's living in his own little capsule.
Have you ever considered throwing a little negative energy or, well, I guess I better not ask that. Line 2, you're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with James Templer.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Templer a question. And, Mr. Templer, you said that nothing can be proven for sure. Is that correct?
Well, generally, yeah, I believe that in the scientific realm also.
Okay. Then, what makes you so sure that these spirits that are still lingering here are lingering here because they died violent death or they weren't ready to die?
Well, yeah, most of these spirits will tell you that. You can do.
Oh, did they tell you that?
Yes. But you can do research of what happens when you get physical appearances of people that actually lived in those houses and research back, and there are communicative levels that you actually communicate with.
Oh, I see. You just asking these questions and they answer them. Okay, and these angels you call on, that you're able to call on, they're not heavenly angels, are they?
Well, you know, there's good and bad energies. I'm not sure what you mean by heavenly. Yeah, a lot of people in magic and the witchcraft, you know, do use Christian entities.
Okay, well, the Bible says different. The Bible says different, and it sounds to me like you believe in the New Age movement with the channeling, the imagery, the aura, in New Age language.
Well, you know, these things are, you know, the ones in the Bible, which basically they take from all pagan sources. The Bible has no credibility whatsoever. I mean, you know, if you've done any research into that text, you'll find out that it's taken from the Egyptians, from the pagans. You know, there's 6 deities born on December 25th. Did you know that, including Buddha?
I beg your pardon?
Did you know that there are 6 god forms that are born on December 26th?
Well, see, that's why we celebrate Jesus' birthday on that. We wanted to knock out the pagan holidays, and that's what we did.
Well, I mean, then you Christians should, because you've stolen every single pagan holiday that there is and named it for yourself, including building your temples on
But
pagan
I was
sites.
sent to conquer and occupy, and that's what we're doing. So we conquered their holidays, and we're occupying them.
Yes, you're very peaceful, loving people.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But you certainly aren't anywhere near Christian. You are definitely from the outside.
Well, that's your opinion. Why don't you go out and kill some more pagans and show what you Christians have done over the last 2,000 years of the
But you know what, Mr. Templer? There's been more murder in the name of atheism in the last 50 years.
That's nonsense.
Oh, not by the end. What about Stalin and Hitler? I mean, they killed the guy.
Hitler considered himself a Christian.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. He considered himself getting the Holy Grail and everything else was hooked up to Christianity.
Anybody can say that. I can say that I'm the Queen of Sheba. That doesn't mean the Queen of Sheba.
Well, the bottom line of any thought form
Well, here in the New Age movement, I've heard you mention God, imagery, aura, reincarnation, and what you people do in the New Age movement is try to mesh that together with Christianity.
No, I don't deal with Christianity at all.
I beg your pardon?
I don't think people should deal with Christianity at all.
But you did mention you believed in God.
I believe in a God form, yeah.
A God form. See, okay, then, but you do try to.
Actually, ma'am, I believe I asked him earlier if he believed in a creator, and he said yes.
Who do you think the creator is?
Good question. What about it, Mr. Templer?
Well, it's a 2,000-year-old belief system. I mean, some of these belief systems go back to Atlantis 50,000 years. I mean, it's a little new religion that is only a really small part of the population.
I'm waiting too. Who is the creator, Mr. Templer?
Well, again, it's an energy, it's a force that, you know, no one really ultimately knows what these are. The creator is, I don't have names for it. I think it's kind of silly that
Well, I
a
think
human
you
would
should have
really
your
think that they
authority on the
Well,
subject.
to think a human can understand what a creator is and exactly how it works, I think is quite silly.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to stop it right there, but you've been a good call. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Well, there you go. There's your first, Mr. Templer. Fascinating.
two drunken guys of a pub in England and had them make a little crop circle. But I mean, there's hundreds of circles that pop up overnight. There's no way anybody could do it unless there was an army out there. If there was an army out there, then there'd be all sorts of signs of it. So these things are very mysterious.
Okay, what about the mutilations, like the cows and stuff?
Again, these are very mysterious. They're perfect cuts, things that can't be done very easily, and it definitely seems like there's no tracks around it, and they're very mysterious again.
What would you say was either the occult or some aliens, and what possible use could the aliens have for, mutilating animals?
Well, again, they're using this genetic material, and they seem to have some initial experimentations with it. The only thing we can come up with. There's no occultists doing this for any particular reason to use body, animal organs and so forth. I think that's all a bunch of silliness. What's exactly happening? Again, these things are just, we have pointers.
All right, sir. Thanks very much for the call, Seattle. Mr. Templar, even here in Las Vegas, I am sorry to have to say, up on the side of a mountain here in towers over the town, they have found signs of ritual taking place, occult, satanic rituals, signs of sacrifice, the candles, the paraphernalia. It's going on around here. It seems to be going on around everywhere. What is that, please?
Okay, yeah, there's a small group of people that are doing negative practices out there, and it's totally overblown by the media, yet I haven't seen a Satanist on television that's stealing money from people to build condominiums or getting involved in hookers like Swanger did. I mean, it's a very small portion, and these people ought to be watched and prosecuted if they're doing any of these.
I know, but Swiggert's fall from grace, Mr. Templar, does not diminish in any way for most Christians their belief system. I mean, it is a fallen man. Men are but men.
Yes, every day I see molesting priests and ministers in the paper constantly. I think they'd be watching where the real trouble is and not let
Fair enough, Mr. Templar, but it sounds as though you've got it out for Christians, and I'm going to, to some degree, defend them. You hear about it because it is the uncommon, not the common.
Well, they attack everybody, and if it's something that makes you happy, fine, go for it. But basically, Satanism and animal sacrifice go back to Christianity. It has nothing to do with occultism.
All right.
Drink blood and eat the flesh in their ceremonies. Baptists drink a glass of grape juice. Now, if I was to tell somebody in my magazine that you had to do a symbolic ritual of eating flesh and drinking blood, I'd be labeled as a Satanist and be hunted down. Yet the Catholics do this every day.
On the first-time caller line, you're on the air with James Templar in Palm Springs. Good morning.
Art, I just got one thing to say.
No, you don't, because you can't call on that line. Wildcard line 3, you're on the air. Good morning.
Oh, hello?
Hello. Turn your radio off, please.
Turn it off.
Tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from California.
All right. You're on the air with Mr. Templar.
Just wanted to ask Mr. Templar if I can get any more information on his society. I'm very interested in it.
Oh, don't you know we're going to give you some information. Mr. Templar, what does your society, if somebody like this lady writes to you or calls, whatever it is you allow, what might you send her to inform her?
We're happy to send out some free information on the organization. We have an 800 number you can call after the show, which is 800-395-4467, and whoever's interested will send out some free information on the
See, I
organization.
lived in India quite a while and got very familiar with their magic.
When is that phone line open, please, Mr. Templar?
That'll be open right after the show, whenever I'm assuming after 6 o'clock.
I mean, is it normally open 24 hours? Or?
Yes, there's a tape on there in the normal times, generally anytime after the best bet. We'll call you back if you leave a message.
All right, well, there you go, ma'am. And you were mentioning India. Go ahead.
And so while I was in India, I saw some instance of their magic, and I am a firm believer in it. And I've been trying to get information wherever I go. And one time my life was saved through something like this. I was in danger, and my father and a guest staying with us and our night security men heard me screaming for help when I hadn't screamed at all. I wasn't even aware I was in danger.
What we're saying is that there's all sorts of mysterious powers out there, and to overlook them, that could possibly be some help for yourself or for society, that it is foolish. We need, at this time, a society is in such decay, we need to look for alternatives and use them. These things have been around for a long time, and shouldn't be ignored.
And you know, you were talking about magic until we saw an incident of it, a perfectly healthy man killed by magic.
In what manner, please, ma'am?
Showed up at our house one day and asked my father to take care of his wife and children because he was going to die. And my father said, look, you're a perfectly healthy 32-year-old. And he said, son, you don't understand. He said, I have been wished to death. So we sent him to the hospital. We had physical done. We had him hypnotized. We did everything. On the day he said he was going to die, he sat down in the middle of the road and said, my time has come, and he was dead.
Well, did a truck hit him?
Nothing. He died. Just died. So we had asked his relatives if we could have an autopsy done. There was no reason at all for this man to die. He was a perfectly healthy, approximately 32-year-old.
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, Mr. Templar, there are many times when people die without discernible cause. Many times, even despite an autopsy, they are simply unable to discover the cause of death. Have a lot of those people been killed by magic?
Well, I know of a lot. It's not easy to kill somebody with magic. Let's get that right off. It does happen, but it's not something that is easily obtained or easily done. So, again, we really don't know how many of these actually happen. There's some very mysterious deaths, and there's things that have been linked to people being, quote, cursed.
All right, I joke about it, have joked about it on the show, but suppose a whole bunch of people with great psychic power were to get together and try and figure out a way to psychically burst a blood vessel in the temple of Saddam Hussein. Could that be done?
Again, yes, generally here. The problem is a sphere of influence problem here again, because if you can do that as a group, you're changing the entire planet, and there are spirit guides that won't allow this to happen.
All right. First time caller line, you're on the air with James Templar in Las Vegas. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine. Where are you calling from, please?
Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time here, but go ahead. What is your question?
Perhaps just listening to your program, we would both agree that there's good and there's evil. Now, is there a possibility there's good aliens and bad aliens?
All right, that's a good question. Mr.
Yeah.
Templar, the answer to that?
There's definitely good aliens. The problem is they don't seem to be too interested in helping us. So that's the only problem that I can see.
So the good aliens then are more or less indifferent to the human plight?
Well, they seem to have this Star Trek mentality, is what I call it. They don't want to really interfere. The philosophy is that ultimately, when push comes to shove, they will come to our aid.
Wildcard line 3, you're on the air in Las Vegas with Mr. Templar.
Yes, I hope to be intelligent when I say this. I'm a Christian, and
You mean you want to try to hold your temper?
no, not at all. I just want to come across as intelligent.
Okay, good. Well, take a deep breath. Tell us where you're calling from.
Marin County.
All right, let her rip.
Basically, I would say that if what you're saying is true, then Jesus came and died for nothing, and the Bible's a waste of time, and that we should all just, chuck it in and go fishing. The Bible tells us that we should test the spirits, and any spirit that denies that Jesus came in the flesh is not from God. I used to be a believer in what you are talking about now, and I found that as a Christian there are things called familiar spirits, and what they do is they imitate and act like people that have passed away, and the whole point is for them to deceive people like you into believing that they're somehow subject to you, and somehow that you can do some good.
All right, caller, hold it right there. Mr. Templar, is it possible, indeed, that you have been deceived, that what this caller believes is correct, and one day in the end you're going to find out that he's exactly correct? Do you acknowledge that as a possibility, or are you surely certain that it is not so?
I think it's probably is ridiculous. More people are deceived on the other side. If Christianity works for you, fine. Just don't force it down other people's throat and persecute them.
But you do acknowledge that he could be right.
No, I don't really know. And again, if you've done any kind of research on the Bible, you really find where it's come from and how it's pieced together, etc. If it works for you, fine.
Any comments, caller?
Yeah, I would simply say that who was Jesus, and if he wasn't who he says he was, then he was an incredibly stupid and deluded man. And why do people who are not Christians consider him to be a wise and great man.
Thank you. Who was Jesus, Mr. Templar?
Well, again, I don't believe there was a Jesus. The Jewish writers at that time never mentioned Jesus. I believe there's only one comment of a quote Jesus-type person by the Romans who kept excellent documentation. So there doesn't really seem to be much evidence involved in any of this.
Why would you, with what documentation does exist, which many would claim is substantial of the presence on earth of Jesus, consider that less likely than many of the things that you have investigated that, in fact, have much less documentation to support them?
Well, Christianity only was used and propagated by the sword. They murdered people who didn't believe in them, millions. And, that speaks for itself. People weren't converted from, quote, paganism because they wanted to. They were converted by the sword.
Mr. Templar, I'll tell you what, I want to talk a little bit about witchcraft.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More Somewhere in Time coming up.
Which I'm about to inquire about, the occult, ghosts, things of that sort. James Templar, my guest, president of the International Guild of Occult Sciences College and Research Society in Palm Springs. I hope you're buckled in. And we'll get back to him in just a moment. Templar. And are you there, James? Okay, your public awaits. Some of them with little knives and guns. Remember, folks, our first-time caller line / east of the Mississippi River line is area code 702-385-7213. And good morning on that line. You're on the air. Yes, you are. Where are you calling from? Seattle. All right. Well, you're on the air with Mr. Templar. Go ahead.
I kind of caught me by surprise during that on so fast.
Well, you have to imagine, sir, when you dial, you might get on.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to know his view on Carlos Castaneda's books.
I think he's an excellent writer, and he gives you an excellent insight into the magical tradition of Mexico, and I believe the ancient Aztecs. They are fascinating books, and it gives you a whole insight into it's really shamanism.
All right, caller. Thank you. You got in quickly because that's our first-time caller line, and you can only call it one time, and then, of course, you've got to shift over and become a second-time caller and go in the mix. But when you call that line, folks, you can get on rather quickly sometimes. Area code 702-385-7213. Let it ring until we answer. Wildcard line 3, you're on the air in Las Vegas. Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Bell.
Hi there.
This is from Barstow, California.
Barstow, all right. The Barstow Triangle, yes, indeed.
Yes, I was just interested in about dreams, if Mr. Templar, has, I know he has some kind of understanding with these dreams. I'm just curious to know, because I had a few dreams, especially he mentioned about this book about the man, there's something going on, the man's exodus in New York City. And I had a dream like that a few months ago, that I was driving over the Verrazano Bridge, and I discovered this crazy. While I was going in, there was millions of people coming out, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. And this brings back the memory, I said, that's weird, And then I had another dream one time before this earthquake in 7.6 we had here. And about 3 weeks before that, I dreamt that there was a big earthquake here. I looked out the window and I've seen everything crumbling down, and my house wasn't going down. It was really weird. It was a dream. And then this actually happened, but thank God there was no damage here, you know? So I was just curious to know if there's any kind of connection with dreams.
All right, I have a question for you, caller, just before he answers. If you were to dream tomorrow that there was a gigantic earthquake and you saw yourself being killed, what would you do?
What would I do?
After having had your first experience, yeah, what would you do?
Take precautions, I don't know.
Well, I said now you saw yourself being killed. Would you wake up quickly and leave the state, get the hell out of the area? Would you actually, in other words, what I'm trying to find out is, would you act now, having seen it happen once, would you act on your dream?
I probably would, but my problem is I'm confined here because I got an elderly mother, you know, and I'm stuck, you know.
So
I'm in a situation where I can't move. I wasn't being killed, actually. It was just a...
No, I understand that. I was pushing it to the limit to see if you would act on what you believe to have happened to you. Thank you very much. Mr. Templer, comments?
Yeah, dreams are very deceptive. You have to do it like any other discipline, and that means you have to write down, see if they happen in your life, and follow it through. Most dreams are minds releasing, and it's a tension thing, and so forth. There's not much credit you can give to dreams unless you're actually following them, seeing if things happen in your
Well, yeah,
life.
without something flashing at the top of the dream saying real dream, real dream.
Right.
How's one to discern the difference? I guess just practice?
You can't discern the difference. The idea is there are techniques. We have a lot of different courses on all sorts of different things that you can tell yourself, you know, you have to have a pen and pencil by your bed and tell yourself subconsciously when you're going to sleep that you're going to remember your dream. And as soon as you have it, and if you wake up, you should write it down, make a whole little book out of it. See exactly if it's just your mind or there actually is something coming through.
When I was a kid, I was convinced when my dad would turn the light off that there were, of course, like other kids, monsters in the closet, monsters under my bed, and you're telling me in a way there are monsters.
Well, not really. And what I'm saying is that you have to learn how to discern what is real and not, and that comes from training and from learning.
There's a lot of popular literature out about monsters, evil creatures, genetic mutants, things from other planets that chew up, defile human beings, cut them up, rip them to shreds, that sort of thing. Do you think such a beast exists?
Well, there's demonic forces, and some very rarely do they come through and they actually physically hurt people. But I mean, these are very rare instances.
It does happen, though?
It does on rare instances that they're actual physical ramifications.
All right. Good morning. First time caller line. You're on the air in Las Vegas with James Templer.
Yes, I had a question for him.
All right. Where are you calling from?
Seattle.
Seattle.
That's for TVI.
All right.
Actually, I was wondering if these aliens are watching, how does Mr. Templer think that they will announce themselves to the local human race?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, Mr. Templer, indeed. Thank you, caller. What form do you expect eventual contact, say, within 10 years to take?
Well, I mean, they're in contact with the government already to a large extent. In terms of how the regular populace will hear of them, I think it's just going to happen one day. They're just going to announce that they've been here, and the government's going to come out and say that we've known this for a long time, but now we have to because there's some major problem that may happen here.
I suppose somebody will dub it Spacegate. Wildcard line 3, you're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell and James Templer. Good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Hi, where are you calling from, please?
All right.
Salt Lake City, KDKK. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, I've got two quick ones real fast.
All right, I'm going to relay this because I doubt he can hear you. You're not very strong, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. The first one I wanted to ask him to go on about here once I get off the phone is his studies on what he's doing and how it relates to the martial arts. I believe that was mentioned during the introduction. And second of all, I wanted to ask him a little bit about what I call freebies or premonitions. When you don't, it's hard to explain it. Maybe he can get it better or explain it better than I can. When you know something's going to happen, but it's not a little voice that tells you. It's not. It's one of those things that are kind
people, Mr. Templar, who have learned to act on their intuition, if you want to call it that, or premonition, if you want to call it that. They've learned to cultivate it and act on it. Are these the people in this world, Mr. Templar, who are successful and generally excel or are seen to be unreasonably lucky and excel?
Very, very much so. And if you notice, if you read any type of literature on people who are real successful investors and so forth, they tend to have this little voice talking to them, telling them to do this or do that. And they feel it. A common thing is the gut reaction. Well, I feel it in my gut. And most very successful people have put a heavy amount of emphasis on these areas of their lives. I mean, all happens. How many times have we reached for the phone and it rings? Or, the stories are just endless of people that feel a relative dying.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Not only in terms of the choices. Life is nothing but a constant stream of choices, left road or right road. Which way do I go? So it's not just that, but it's also the negative. A lot of people will have bells ringing in their brain all over the place when they're walking into an area that's going to be trouble for them. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. A lot of people have saved their lives like that. How many times have you went into a place, whether it's a store or you're walking in that place in the dark, and you feel real negative energies from it?
Oh, yes.
So bad.
Oh, yes.
And these are the warning signals that you get from your mind telling you something is going to happen. How many times have you go out and you lost your key to your car and it takes you 2 minutes to find it, and then all of a sudden you're driving down the road and there's an accident there that happened 2 minutes ago? These are all psychic tools that are not scary, they're not anything great occult or hooked up into weird areas. These are forces that you should learn how to use so you can better your life.
Mr. Templar, I actually do that, and unfortunately, though, I must admit that more times than not, I've been in a position of saying, damn, I knew this was wrong. I knew I shouldn't have done this. I had the feeling, but like an idiot, I went ahead anyway. So you're kicking yourself around.
Well, if you do some basic little psychic trainings, these type of messages will probably be effective to you 80% of the time. They can save your life.
All right, indeed. Line 2, you're on the air in Las Vegas with James Templar and Art Bell. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, in the book of Revelation, it says that there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. And it also, it says later in that...
All right, so what is your point from that? What are you trying to suggest?
Revelation chapter 12, it declares that the planet Earth is being invaded by the devil himself and the demon spirit. So those are the bad aliens.
All right, thank you. Is that something, Mr. Templar, that you would regard as valid in the Bible?
Well, again, most of these stories are taken from other places, and there is some validity to that. I mean, it does. You must remember these are written in ancient times. They wouldn't describe...
Mr. Templar, wait a sec. You're finding convenient in the Bible, and naming is why there's something to that, you say, where it seems to support your case, but where it doesn't, you scoff.
Well, no, those stories are all proof paganism. I mean, the Nordic tradition of Ragnarok goes into all that. It just very much looks like an alien attack, and all these things have generally been taken from these sources.
Well, okay, but again, I accuse thee of finding convenient the passages that agree, and you get my drift?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
It's a very human thing to do, Mr. Templar.
If the Bible works for you, great. I'm not on a tirade against Christianity.
Well, I know there are going to be some that have heard it that way, and so on their behalf, I thought I'd get you. All right, to the telephones again, then. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Oregon.
Oregon, all right.
I have 2 comments and a question.
All right.
I've been involved with law enforcement now for about 16 years. And the type of covenants and witchcraft that are being talked about are more widespread, I believe, than your guess would indicate. I've also had to do some background and some studying on the subject. I wanted to say one thing about Mr. Crowley. He was described by your guest as a witch. One thing that's not widely known, I guess, unless you go into his background, is that the type of witchcraft he was involved in was, and I won't get graphic, but it was sadistic, it was sexual, it was
As a matter of fact, it was so extreme that he lost his son.
All right, we're really getting an awful lot of ground here to cover, sir. Hold on just a
All
second.
right, that's my question. My question for him is this. He's talked about having success in dealing with these things. My question is, what does he do? What authority does he use when he comes up against this that finds himself able to prevail?
All right, thank you. And a good question it is, Mr. Trimble. By what authority do you challenge any of these beings or attempt to help anybody free themselves of such a possession?
Again, most people use traditions as they're called. Traditions means whatever belief system. Some people use Egyptian god form energy. You could use Celtic. You could use Nordic. You use energy forms to combat them with, and they're very effective. In terms of Crowley and so forth, I have no use for Crowley. I don't like his magic. I don't like his writings or anything else. He has survived, and I have absolutely no use for him or his writings. And in terms of satanic crime, you better start watching these ministers that are molesting hundreds of children instead of and the renegade.
I know, we have, in fact, there's a story about a priest molesting children who did it here in Las Vegas back in the 60s, I think it was, and that's running in the news right now. So it does happen, but again, in defense of them, the priesthood that is, there are very few that do it, and when they do, it's a great big story.
As far as I'm aware, there's never been one Satanist brought to trial that has been convicted of killing babies, doing all these things you hear about. You know, the Christians did this to the Jews initially, and they accused them of being baby killers and everything else. And quite frankly, law enforcement is so ignorant in this field that they can't really judge one thing from another. And
So you're saying
it really means nothing.
You're saying they see it then where it doesn't exist, or they imagine it where it does not exist.
They see a little symbol and they don't really know what it means. You know, just like last night you were talking about the swastika and everything else, and that's a perverted symbol that the American Indians have used. They use it in Tibet and everything else.
Well, certainly, but no matter who used it well or drew it well, the Nazis ruined it.
I'd like to say we find anybody involved in these practices. We do all we can to stop these people. We have no use for anybody doing that. We find animals extremely sacred, and actually I think they're a higher species than humans, and if we catch anybody doing this, and we disseminate quality information. I don't accept Crowley.
I understand. Listen, if this were a few hundred years ago and we were in New England, would we be hearing about you getting warm toes soon?
I'm sure it would. I mean, it kills enough of people, millions.
All right, line 3, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. I just asked Mr. Templar, as a second generation abductee, I'd like to know what a connection could be with, let's say, the little grays or small beings.
You're saying you have been abducted, or are you simply the offspring of someone who has?
Or I have been abducted.
You have been.
As in my parents also have. But what I'd like to know is with some more or less positive abductions, there's also some very, very negative ones. And I'd like to know if the entity that comes in while you're sleeping periodically and would attack you, pull off covers and do, sexually attack you. Are these also the grays? Does he have any idea?
Were you attacked in this manner? Sexually attacked?
No, that's a pure demonic attack. That really has no connection to the aliens, unless they're intertwined, which is what we're investigating. But that's a very typical demonic attack.
It is, that's bad news. I didn't really want to hear that.
I understand.
Because the grays came a lot, but then right in the middle, within like a week's time, this other thing came, and I couldn't.
Well, don't feel helpless, and don't let a lot of these grays come in because they manipulate you, and you've got to let them in. You fight these things. People are scared. Learn to get up your courage and fight these things. And the same thing with the demons. There are ways to fight them, and that's part of the message I'm trying to put out. Don't feel hopeless like all these UFO shows. You feel like you want to go out and commit suicide. The idea is to challenge these things and to let them know that you're not